Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Board Game Heaven Talks Accessories. My name is Raymond, and in this video I'm taking a look at the Laserox insert Shadowed Journey Organizer for the Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle-earth Shadowed Paths expansion. So this is an insert that holds everything inside this box, and I'll start with assembling the components and showing you how that works, and then I'll put everything inside the box, and then I'll give you my final thoughts. Okay, so let's open up the box and look at the instructions on how to build this. Looks like there's just a couple of trays for the minis and for the cards. Shouldn't be too hard. So let's just open it up. All right, it comes with the golden Laserox seal to stick on your box. And the sheets are all numbered. And here's the assembly. So it has a bigger tray, I presume, for the tiles. A large tray here, a large tray there. This is for the cards, and then two trays on top for the minis and for some tokens. And these are all the components that you put together. Pretty straightforward. There's a big tray for the maps, for the Balrog, for miniatures, for cards. So yeah, I mean, should be pretty straightforward. I'll just assemble the card tray and one of the miniature trays to show you how that works. And I'll put everything in a box and the stuff inside. So let's start sorting. So I need this entire sheet here with these parts, which are basically the same as these, but they were on different sheets. And two of these, which will be the outer walls. So, and they're all listed here. If I'm building this, then you just check those numbers and the sheets that they are on. One thing is always odd, though, is that these have numbers and they start with a letter, so A, B, C, D, E, F, G, while the sheets have numbers 1 through 7 instead of A, B, C. So yeah, that's a bit odd, but you can recognize them very easily. So it's not a big deal. It's just something that I always find very odd on these Laserox inserts. But at least they're all nicely illustrated on the instructions, so you can easily find them. So let's just press everything out, and you can just twist most of these things out very easily, like so. And there you go. And if you encounter any dividers that have rounded edges, then that means you don't glue them. That's a very easy way to recognize them. So for example, this is all glued. These are straight, pointy edges. And you glue those. I'll just put these together. But this has rounded edges everywhere here. So that means that these just slide in and you don't glue them. So that means you can make your insert modular. All right, so this is a side, this is a side, this is that one, and that's that one, and the others just go in the middle, and it's pretty straightforward. So let's see if there is an order to do this. I don't think it matters as long as you all put them in the same orientation, so that the bigger trays are all on one side, because this will then sit on top of those. And obviously if you flip this around, then that won't fit. So that's, I think, the only thing you need to keep an eye on, and that's pretty obvious. And then you just, I got myself a Laserox hammer to assemble things if they need a little bit of a push. An old brush that I don't use for anything else to wipe off excess glue or to apply the glue, although I usually just use the bottle. Yeah, a knife if one of the parts is, stuck, if it doesn't twist out easily, and some Laserox wood glue. And that's all you need. So let's start assembling. there you go. That took me about 6 minutes to put together. And then you can take these dividers and just slide them in. So, you know, you can make it modular. If you at some point have bigger models and you need more room, you can just take these out. So yeah, that's miniature tray 1 already done. Let's look at the car tray. So this is again another simple tray. You just simply have the bottom, the sides there, and the middle dividers. And again, the only thing you need to pay attention to is that these slots are on the same side. There's a bigger space here and 2 smaller spaces here. So of course you need to make sure that they're all in line with each other. And these, they look the same, but they have 1 slot for this in the middle. And these have 2, and that's basically all the difference. So again, let's start assembling. These need to go last because these have notches that fit these. I'll do the middle dividers first. And there you go, about 5 minutes and you're done. And you have these dividers which have the notches on several levels, so you can line them up like that. So you can put some in all of these, which I will do. And those are your card holders, so you can just put all the cards inside. You can put that on the table and ready to take them out. You can even put it on the table like this and take them out like that, whatever you want. And that's pretty cool. And again, these have rounded edges, so don't glue those. They can just be taken in and out if you need to. There you go. All right, let's continue with the rest. All right, I've taken the components for this creature tray over here, and there's 2 things you need to pay attention to. First of all, the sides have some really lovely engravings that look like mountains, so make sure to glue those on the outside. But there's another thing, this isn't symmetrical, so you have these 2 inner dividers that sit here and here. I'll just push them in a bit. And there's one end that has a notch and one end that doesn't. So this is important. You have one divider that is again optional, and that goes on the shorter side. So this will go in here and sit like that. So that means this with the notch needs to be here, and this one needs to be here without the notch, because if I put this here, it will fall short from the wall, as you can see. So that's the only thing you need to pay attention to, that this goes on the side which has the shorter leftover space, and this one goes on the side with the larger section there. All right, that's basically it. So that also goes for these sides. Again, if you want this to be on the outside, just check that these notches line up, because if I were to get this one, although they do look, oh, so that's a bit of a bummer. They are symmetrical, which will result in one of these having to be assembled like this with the engravings on the inside, because if I flip this around, see, then these notches don't line up. So that's a bit of an error there, Laserox. These 2 are exactly the same, while they should be mirrored. And that means the engravings should be on the other side. So you can still assemble it. It'll just have some of these on the inside and the others on the outside, which isn't a big deal, but maybe you just flip the laser engraving image on one of those sheets and that will be fixed. on the other hand, doesn't really matter. If I put it down like this on the table, it kind of works too. So maybe it was intentional, I'm not sure. So there you go. And then this can sit in here. You don't glue it, just fits inside. So you have 4 slots and a big slot for some creatures. Also, the tile tray is one that's not entirely square, so make sure to align up these walls first. This one goes on one of these sides. I don't know if it's shorter or the longer one, but this one is shorter. So this should be shorter and this should be the longer side. Because as you can see, if I put this here, it's pretty much too short. These are slightly longer, as you can see. So those go on one side here, and these line up nicely. And these have a notch here for these. So pay attention to this one as well. All right, so let's put everything inside the box. First of all, you toss out the cardboard insert, and then you take the tray with all the big tiles. And that just goes into one corner, like so. I don't know if it's supposed to go that way or that way. We'll find out how to turn it. Because this box, which is the box with the Balrog, which is this one, the Balrog goes in here, and the big spider goes in here, I think. It's one of the few spaces where it will actually fit. And I put Gandalf here as well to keep the Balrog in check. But of course, because Gandalf is a bit taller with his staff and would stick out in other places. So I'm going to put him here. And it looks like that's the correct orientation because this lines up nicely. All right. So then we have this creature tray, which holds the bigger ones. I mean, these trolls actually fit in here, just in one direction, like so. But I thought I'd put them together and, you know, have an extra slot, because this is a big slot. But, you know, you could put them on their backs, because I'm not sure, they stick out a little. See, they just poke out their heads. These fit, but if I put one down, which I can, then I don't really have room for the other one unless I just overlap a little, which can't, you know, can be the way they intended this. But I guess it's the only way they would fit, unless I put Gandalf somewhere else. I put this one on his back and this one here, but same thing, also sticks out. So, and I don't know if I can put it in. I can actually. So I guess you can put one there. I'm not 100% sure if that's the idea. Or maybe these two are supposed to go in here and this is supposed to go here. That works too. I mean, whatever. This is a bit tight though. I mean, if you paint these, they might rub against the walls. So I'm not 100% sure which go where. So I'm actually happier with this guy in here and the spider in here, because that's a really nice fit. And I kind of wished this would, you know, fit, but it doesn't. So yeah, I'll just put him here for now while I figure that out. And does Gandalf fit here with the staff? I think just about. So I'll put that there. I'll just see how that works out. So then we get to cards. So as you can see, I put in all of the cards here. So I put the these ring cards with all the what's that called again? You know, the meddler and the delver and all those things. These professions, if you will. The extra titles and the character cards. These are these cards with the green mountain icon, the armor, and a few of these bags. There's only 2 of them, and the rest is all these items. So I put those, I organized those, and you can sleeve them. There's plenty of room. So that's all fine, and it goes over here. So then we have the token tray, and I only put in these tokens because they're easy to separate. And there's no dividers otherwise for other tokens, which is a bit odd because there are some additional tokens. But this then goes on top of this, and I can, yeah, there's a trouble there with Gandalf's staff after all. So that's a bit annoying. I guess I can put him here for now. That's not where he's supposed to go. So this fits. All right. Then we have the miniature trays. So this goes on top of this, which has the spiders, the characters except Gandalf. Although I think with these gaps, I could probably just put him in anyway and have his head and his staff rest in here. That works too, I guess. And I put these tokens in here because I did have some extra slots. And I guess you can put these with the tokens in the core game box if you have that insert as well. I built that as well. You can check that out by clicking the eye over there and see the insert by Laserox for the core game. But this, yeah, has some extra tokens. I don't know if you actually need that many, so they're probably just reserves. But I just put them in there because there's room. And then finally, this second miniature tray has all of these goblins and these with the whips and these undead with their swords because they're a bit too tall with the sword unless you put them in like this. That works. But, you know, since we have bigger spaces there, and fortunately the guys with the whips do fit, but I also had one which had the whip raised up higher, so that needs a bigger slot as well. So yeah, it just happened to have two of these that do fit in here. And then there's 3 slots left, and even more, you know, if you put these with the core game, should you have some miniature packs with some extra miniatures. So it does peep over the edge just a little bit. And there was a spot for the cards, I believe, on the Balrog here. This is deeper, as you can see. So you can put that there if you want to. It's not a very dedicated space. I mean, it could have fit here perfectly had this divider been lower. So, you know, and again, it's probably meant to, you know, you're probably meant to put these in the core box. But if this divider was just a little bit lower, that would have fit on top of this just perfectly. Maybe not sleeved, I'm not sure. I'd have to try that out. I'm probably gonna sleeve them. But, you know, you can put them anywhere. You can put them here if you want to. So, all right. That's basically everything. And then you can grab the rule book, put that on top, and the lid, and just put everything nicely inside and have that all organized, and you can store that horizontally or vertically, however you want. And this is about how much the lid is raised. It's about 7 millimeters, 6 millimeters. So not a lot. All right, let's go to my final thoughts. So my final thoughts on the Laserox Organizer for the expansion Shadowed Paths for Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle-earth. First of all, it was relatively easy to put together. I put it together in about an hour. You do need some glue, and you do need to pay attention to some of the trays because not all of them are symmetrical and have some dividers that need to be placed in a certain order. But other than that, it was relatively easy and fun to put together. There's a spot for everything. You've got a large tray for all of the tiles. There's even some room left for more tiles should you ever get an expansion with a couple of tiles more. These character sheets can actually be stored in the core game organizer by Laserox. So I also did a video of that, and that has room left for extra character sheets, even sleeved, so that's no problem at all. The cards fit in easily, you can sleeve them, there's plenty of room. You can even take some of these cards, like these extra title cards, and put them with the rest in the core box. And there's a couple of these armor and the other yellow ones with the bag. There's just a few of them, 3 and 2. So you can sleeve those and put those with the core game as well. and even these green ones, there's also just 4 of them, can all be stored in the card tray from the Core Game Organizer. So that leaves you with plenty of room for these, these are quite a few. So if you sleeve these, they take up some more space, which won't fit in the core box, but it will fit in here. Of course, there's lots of space. So future expansions can probably be easily divided between this and the core box. There is also plenty of room for the miniatures. Everything has its own spot. I did have to, you know, figure out where to put these ogres. So trolls, whatever they are. So yeah, these trolls, they do fit, but this, with the Balrog, it's a bit tight. It does fit, but it's, you know, it's just a bit tight, but at least it doesn't stick out. And this one has more room, and these worms have plenty of room. So all of that is good. And the smaller minis easily fit in here like I showed you. So that's good as well. And there's even some spaces left. I did take these tokens that I tossed in there with the miniatures. So this leaf and the compass token and the bag token. And I managed to store all of them in the tray from the core game. So that's fine as well. You do have to stack these neatly, but they do fit. And these can just be tossed with the rest. So that's easily enough, which leaves you with this token tray for these new tokens and these terrain tokens, the log and cliff, whatever it is, and this rubble here. So that can be just tossed together into this tray, which is fine. And that's basically everything. The only thing that doesn't really have a spot is these new tokens. There is not a spot for it in the core game because all the token trays are taken. So I guess you could also toss them in with the rest here since they're so small. But I like to keep things organized, so I just sacrificed one of these miniature spots for those tokens. And yeah, the core box also has about 23 slots left over for minis, so you could store a lot of these in the core box even if you wanted to. And it also has another bigger spot for a bigger miniature, which I reserved for one of the expansion packs, for the smaller packs. So yeah, there's even one spot here for a bigger miniature with these worms as well. So it works great. Everything stores nicely. It only raises the lid for a couple of millimeters, and that works great. I love it. So it looks nice. It's you know, it's modular, so you can put things on the table. You can take out the tray with the tokens, take out the tray with the cards, and just put them on the table and leave the rest in the box. And I just really like that. So I'm giving this a big thumbs up. It was awesome making this, and I'd like to thank Laserox for sending this over for me to review. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the bell icon if you'd like to be notified whenever I upload a new video. And please consider becoming a Patreon saint to my channel by clicking the link in the description below or the Patreon icon at the end of this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on Board Game Heaven.